Welcome back to Coach's Corner. We continue today on our program talking girls golf with John Munger, our girls golf coach, who kind of replaced a legend there, didn't you, Coach
Yeah.
Munger?
Yeah, they just traded Johns. They went from an old John to a little bit younger John, not much, but yeah, he'd been doing it for quite a while.
Johnny Spohr had done it for a number of years, and you were in place, and,
Yep.
and certainly were willing to take over things. Tell
Oh,
us,
yeah.
give us an update on how the girls' team is doing so far.
You know, every tournament we've gone to since the beginning of the season, once all of our golfers have been there, a few of them came over from basketball. None of the girls do one thing. That's the thing. But we've improved every tournament. Yesterday we finished up at Owasso, had a team score of 369, so we're making little improvements here and there, and which is good. It's fun.
Absolutely. You had a couple of girls coming back that
Yes.
that had some experience, Madison and then Anna.
Anna and Kaylee Gillespie
right.
and Mackenzie Gales. They're my three returners, or four actually, excuse me. And then I've had Megan Wicker and Hannah Porter. She came back. Kirsten Anderson brought her back. And then Madison Kelly and Megan Wicker and Madison Kelly are my two young ones, freshmen getting into it, and they're doing good. They've got a good work ethic.
As you line up your team, though, when you go to these, you have to pick out your top five.
Yes.
Are you there yet, or is it still
Yeah,
competition?
I mean, we know basically our top six, and I rotate the 5 and 6, 4, 5, and 6, just to throw a little spice into it, but two to let them see how tournaments are. I mean, I'll rotate in and out because we sure miss a lot of school, and so because you don't go play a golf tournament in the evening, it's an all-day affair. By the time you travel, go play, then come home, and so we rotate quite a bit. But I would put my top four right now at Madison Presco, Maddie at 1, Kaylee Gillespie at 2, Anna at 3, and then the 4 and 5 will go between Mackenzie, Megan, and Kirsten right now.
You want them hungry, don't you, Coach?
Yeah, you do. And boy, these young ladies, they work hard and they do so many things. It's hard to look at them and say you've got to devote all your time to golf. Which, if they did, they could just shoot that much better. But they're very active, good representatives for our school and for our community too.
Well, John has coached. He's AD'd. He's coached almost every sport. And
Almost,
when you live in a town like Ponca, and you've got a daughter who's going through the high school now, I mean, they have to do a lot of different things. So if there's anybody that could ever sympathize with coaches' dilemmas in that area, and I always appreciate, Johnny, you're a teacher too, obviously.
Oh, yes.
You appreciate the academics because I
That's
don't imagine
what
girls golf is a big concern academic wise.
No, I don't have to worry about them. They take care of their grades. In fact, it's the big thing is they say, "Can I go to MUS today?" And which is our uninterrupted study time. I call it study hall, or go get your homework done is what I tell them. And they want to. They say they get worried if they have a B.
Yeah.
So that's nice, and I always tell them, absolutely go. I said, you just let me know. I'll meet you at the course, or I pick some of them up in a school vehicle, a bus. But they utilize it, and it's nice not to have to worry about that. I mean, they're very responsible.
Well, if they're not playing a tournament, they're practicing then too.
Yeah, they go practice, and Coach Orr or even Coach Spohr, he's not totally retired. He's still there. He will go help them and meet them out the golf course, and but they practice, and it's slowly coming around to where they're realizing, I put this time in, I worked on this, it gets better. So that's good.
Have they announced regionals and state?
No, not yet. I mean, we know where regionals will be. It'll either be on the west side at Kicking Bird in Edmond. If you go east, which is where we traditionally have gone, it'll be at Owasso Golf and Athletic. The hard part is deciding through ranking who goes where. Because if you look at the powers, in high school girls golf, I mean, you've got to put Tulsa Union 1. It's a toss-up between Broken Arrow, Tulsa Union, and Bixby right now. Those are our four powerhouses. I mean, when you're throwing out a fifth score of 82, and you've got girls coming in at par or 2 under par, you know it's going to be hard in the East Regional to make it, because literally there'll be about 5 teams if they don't let a few of us go west competing for the 6th spot. That's what makes it hard.
And again, it's the top 6 go. Is that
in
correct?
Each regional, yes.
And
then you can qualify
individuals
based on, okay, the individual can qualify if they're not a part of the team or they weren't one of the medalists, and so they make it to where it helps. But many of the coaches and I would like to see a more equitable representation on the East and the West. So we get the teams that are supposed to be at state, which we're hosting this year, which was an undertaking. But thank goodness for all of our community and for Coach Spohr and Coach Orr setting that up.
Tell me about that, because I would imagine it's like hosting any other event. You have to have a lot of volunteers, and it has
a lot
to
of
be very
volunteers,
organized.
and Coach Spohr and all of our community members. The businesses are golf pros, whether it's Rod Alexander, Kevin Brown, or Dave at the country club, and even Pixie, who is just wonderful. She's one of the assistants there, organizing everything, because it's not just, hey, we'll put on a tournament, here you go. I mean, there has to be housing. You've got to set up for all of the organization, who's going to work what, how are we going to raise money. It's not like the OSSAA gives you, say, hey, here you go, you've got this allotted amount. We have to raise the money, and it's very generous of our community to be involved in that with our businesses, to donate for that. But then I think they're saying that we're bringing in people from all over the state, as a hopefully attract them for a tourist or something.
Is it all going to be at the country club?
Yeah, girls state will be there. Yeah, that's where we're hosting it this year. We our tournament this year was at Wentz, and with the way Coach Orr and I, with the girls and the boys having our tournaments on the same day, many people wanted us to switch, and but I like playing Wentz, and we've got the country club as our home course, so we'll have hopefully an advantage, but it's going to depend upon which side of the state they send us for regionals, because if we go west, I think we have a much better shot. But when you've got us, Stillwater, Muskogee, and Owasso competing for that last spot on the east side, I mean, it's going to be tough.
Absolutely.
We've got to get it.
Well, what Coach is saying is that they take 6 teams, and you pretty much have said 4 are going to be locks on the east side.
And then you've got to put Owasso and Mustang right up there. I mean, we rank the top 8, and then we try and lobby for hey, look, let's be more fair and equitable.
So a couple of those schools going west would be good for
absolutely, and that's like with Enid, Stillwater, Ponca. We could go either way. I mean, we just would like for it to be equitable representation. So
you don't want a weak team off the west when 3 or 4 strong teams are sitting at home.
Yeah, because we're all right there, and these girls all work too hard not to be given that equitable chance. So
when will they be announcing regionals?
Well, hopefully it'll be by April 15th, 16th, right there, because we had to turn in our rankings by Friday the 11th, which most of us have already talked and sent our information in, but they'll announce it next week, I hope.
Wow, well that's
it's quick.
And then the state's going to be here
after regionals. May 6th and 7th. Yeah. So
I can remember the last time we hosted a state tournament, and we're pretty blessed. We have two courses that are state level quality.
Absolutely, and also just with the challenge at each course. It's not like each one is identical. I mean, they pose their own challenges, so you're not seeing the same thing every time, but also how they're run and managed. I mean, we're pretty fortunate to have 2 very good, high-quality golf courses.
Well, at Lake Ponca, you've got a beautiful course with a beautiful setting, and then, of course, the Ponca City Country Club is recognized always as one of the top courses.
Right.
So that's a good scenario, and hopefully people, if you all are still soliciting for donations and that type of thing, hopefully our citizens will get behind it too.
Yeah, they could always contact David Scott, one of my longtime friends I grew up with, and it's hard to believe that he has boys in high school that are playing golf. But he's our booster club president right now. We're always appreciative of anything that can help, and we hate to ask for money all the time. But as we know, currently with how funding goes, with from the state level down. I think a community has to kick in.
Mm-hmm. And this is Ponca
it
City.
takes a community to raise a child, and it really does.
Let me ask you, we do have a fundraiser coming up, a booster club.
Yeah, the Booster Club Golf Tournament is next Friday, April 18th, which that was one of those days picked because it was going to be a snow day,
right.
But with weather and then the well-needed rally for funding for our kids, we traded that, which was, I think, a very good decision and very successful. So, yeah, it's on a Friday, but it's in the afternoon, starts at 1,
mm-hmm.
and it's a donation, for an entry, but it all goes right back to our kids, and it goes for both of our golf teams.
And that will be
at the country club.
At the country club, and you can contact the country club.
Yes.
And I think I read where you can even make your reservation and then pay when you get there that day.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, there's a sign-up sheet, and you can even just call, and they'll get you signed up, and you can pay right then and there.
Yeah, it's a four-man scramble, and
and it's always fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a great fundraiser, mm-hmm. and congrats. I know that getting a state tournament is difficult anytime in any sport for Ponca City. So with the track program getting the regionals this year, and with our tennis mm-hmm. getting the regionals, and with golf getting the state meet, people are kind of seeing that. I'm sure as a coach, you hear that too.
Yeah, and this year it was kind of a late decision to move the girls' state here because it's been held at Emerald Falls in Broken Arrow. Well, that's where we, Vicki Brown, who's our representative for Girls 6A Golf, and she's a coach at Tulsa Union, does an outstanding job. About 2 weeks after it was announced, they decided they're going to renovate. So they'll be closed for 18 months. So they and the OSSAA and the women's golf representatives were scrambling, and they contacted around, and I was tentative because being my first year, I'm going, mm-hmm. you have got to be kidding me.
Right.
But sure, there's enough people that are willing to help, and John Spohr stepped in and said, yes, I'll be the tournament director. I mean, he can do it in his sleep.
Absolutely.
So he just said, you go coach. I'll let you know when you need to do something. He goes, you're fine. So, and it's nice to have that support from anybody.
Yeah, John's a great guy, and a great guy to have running a tournament too. So,
yes.
Much good luck to you, John Munger.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Girls golf featured this week in our Coach's Corner with Coach Munger, and look forward to the state tournament being here. For John, Phil Turney on Coach's Corner.